Hi, this is Ed Rising, and welcome back to Ed's Pop-O-Matic Podcast, a retro pop culture podcast. We are everything retro beats the new when you keep it in your heart. Tonight, we have a Beatles themed show with a lot of special guests, and most of our guests, I think all of our guests, are all related to having worked with Plastic EP um, over the years, and so it's a bit of a reunion, which is very cool, and Plastic EP will be joining us at some point tonight uh, to discuss uh, to discuss his recent trip to London and Liverpool. And our topic tonight will be on the upcoming release and remastered version of the Beatles Anthology series. So my guests this evening, and please say hello to the audience. We have Fred Velez,
Hello, audience.
Daniel Coston,
Hello, hello, audience.
Michael Ventrella,
Hi, audience.
and Natalie Palumbo.
Hello.
Audience.
Audience, say hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
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 So we should have a little bit of fun tonight talking about this new upcoming um, anthology. Daniel, what do you think of the new release so far?
I'm intrigued by it. I know fans seem to be kind of hot or cold about this release. I think they wanted more unreleased material. There's some things on this that have been bootleg for some time, but I'm glad to finally get an official release. I'm glad that there's a new mix of Free as a Bird and Real Love. I've heard that they have released Free as a Bird. You can listen to it now. I think it's okay. I would like to have had a little more presence in John's vocal. It definitely is a Jeff Lynne remix. I have to say that even now, there's certain quirks to Jeff's mixing, but I think the time has come for this. I mean, it's hard to believe it's been 30 years since the anthology came out. I'm intrigued to see what comes out. Obviously, we know what's going to be on the record, but also what's in this will be 9-part series now coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like the Beatles has replaced It's a Wonderful Life at Thanksgiving. Every year we go to
Yes.
Disney Plus and we watch a Beatles movie. So happy holidays. So
Happy holidays.
Happy
And the
holidays.
Gilmore Girls.
I am intrigued by it. I will certainly be watching it like the rest of us. And one note I will say, I would love everybody's opinions about what's on this that you would love to hear or looking forward to hearing. There is only one outtake from the Rubber Soul sessions that we've never heard before. I believe it's take one of In My Life. That tells me they're holding back some Rubber Soul outtakes, perhaps for when that box set comes out.
Right.
Someday.
Maybe next year.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Michael, could you share anything about what you thought about the upcoming anthology and tracks that you would have liked to have heard, seen?
Well, some of those things on the upcoming anthologies have already been included on the box sets. So some of it's stuff we've already heard. I have to admit, I myself like hearing the outtakes once. To me, it's like reading the first draft of a novel.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem right because I've also been in bands and I know that you don't want people necessarily to hear the practice sessions. You want them to hear the final version. But I like it for historical reasons. What I really like are the final versions, and I like the alternative versions. For example, the different version of "Got to Get You Into My Life" that's on, I really like because it's still a good song. It's a complete song. I like the one that was released better. So those things are fun to hear from me.
Let me ask you a question about that. Let's get on to Got to Get You Into My Life, which is like one of my favorite Beatles,
Yeah.
Paul McCartney songs. So, when they did the Revolver remaster, deluxe, whatever they call it, about what 2 years ago now, maybe. I think there were like 3 or 4 versions of the band, the instrumental, at least the instrumental portion of "Got to Get You Into My Life," and there were also a slight rearrangement of the song.
Well, there's the version without the horns. That's what I'm referring to mostly. So it's a complete
Okay.
version without the horns, and then afterwards they said this will sound better with horns, and it did, obviously.
Yeah.
There's also another version of And Your Bird Can Sing, which is really nice. But I like the final version that they
And there are
actually.
only about 6 versions of that
Well, yeah, but
on the
I mean an
Revolver. You
actual
know, it's like.
completed version. So that to me is what's interesting. Talking about the new songs, if you don't mind me talking about those for a minute.
Yes, please.
The Free of the Bird and Real Love, the new versions, I've listened to them both more than once. I like them. They're different. I mean, there are different mixes. I mean, it's not just that they brought John's voice to the front, but there's other things that you can hear that's different in the mix of it, which doesn't bother me at all. And I like the fact that I hear John's voice up to the front.
Mhm.
But I've said this before, and I said this on my blog. Those three songs are our first drafts. John is sitting down at the piano and he's doing Free as a Bird and Real Love. And you know, when you write a song, as someone who's a songwriter, you write a song, you do the first words that come to your head, then you work on it, then you come back and write really good lyrics.
Yeah.
And none of these are great songs underneath it. I mean, it's wonderful to hear the Beatles again, of course, and to hear the mixes and to hear John's voice. But when he did Double Fantasy and when he did Milk and Honey, these songs weren't any of the ones he included. You know, he said these aren't good enough. I'm going to do
Right.
other. So we have to take that into consideration. When I talk to some Beatle fans, they go, "These aren't that good of songs." So I know they're not. John knows they're not. But it's great to hear them again. You know, it's great to hear them mixed up and sounding good.
When
But
you think
I
about
just want to say,
Real Love in particular, that would have been perfect for Double Fantasy, or
it
if
would have.
Yoko had
All of
included
these
it
could
on
have
Milk
been
and
good.
Honey.
If
Mhm.
he had rewritten the words and worked on them a bit more, I think they could have been really good songs on, you know, record, because they are really good songs now. I'm just saying they're not, they obviously were not John's top songs, or he would have done them on Double Fantasy.
Well, don't
Um,
you think also that with recording artists, that when they are approaching, I mean, they're always going to be writing songs anyway, right? As
right,
we know.
constantly.
But when you're going into the recording studio and you're okay, in 2 weeks' time, I'm going in, I'm going to be with the band, I'm going to start working. You start working, you're approaching a new record with some ideas for new songs, then you're not necessarily going to go back to something so much
Mhm.
as you're going to go forward with something new, and
That is
then
possible.
maybe take in something that oh, I really like this riff, I really like this bit that I had. Let me show you this,
Well, I think that John hit a purple patch with his songwriting in 19. He was definitely inspired in 1980. Wrote a whole batch of songs, and he was really behind it. He was like, "I want to take these into the studio."
Mhm.
And sometimes when you do that, you kind of you forget the songs that you might have written a year or two. You know, I think we know that "Real Love" and "Free as a Bird" was done like 77, 78. I think "Now and Then" is 77. So it was like, maybe I'll get back to this. But he was really, his head really was into those new songs that he
Mhm.
was writing, and it speaks to that period and how much he was writing. He never even got to do a full studio version of "Grow Old with Me." You know, we first heard that as a demo
Right.
on Milk and Honey. So I think it's also it's John Lennon. He was an artist, and
Mhm.
that's that's where his head was. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
wherever you are, that's where he is. Yeah.
Right. And when you consider Now and Then, what the other three, well, what mostly Paul and Ringo did, and what George did back in the original recording, and what was done with the Peter Jackson um, contributions. It's a beautiful song right now,
Mhm.
and I think George's original um, uh, argument about it at the time was that it was a lousy demo and it didn't sound good, and he didn't want to deal with that.
Mhm.
But and I think Olivia touched on this, is that when Peter Jackson presented the clear John Lennon thing, well, now I don't think George would have disapproved,
yeah,
because now it sounds great. And
yeah,
Ringo added new drums and everything. So it's a beautiful song. It makes me a little teary-eyed when I first heard it.
yeah,
So I'm glad they finally now and then is on the anthology project, as
yes,
it was meant to be,
Correct.
on the fourth disc. And so I'm looking forward to the fourth disc, even though there is stuff on the fourth disc that has already been issued through the previous SDE Beatles sets. So that's my disappointment, is that they should have added more stuff that hadn't been heard before, because
yeah.
they could have squeezed in uh, Carnival of Light somehow, but that's okay. They could even put that out as a. They could have put out the two songs as a single and put
Yeah.
Carnival of Light as a bonus track on the single. So who
Yeah.
knows?
It does make me wonder if we'll ever see Carnival of Light or if they'll just like eke out one day. And it's almost at this point, it's like they should just release and say it's not a great song, but do a remix project, and invite musicians to make their own version, kind of like what McCartney did with
McCartney 3.
years ago. Yeah,
There you go.
I mean, release it that way and just see what people turn it into.
I
So
think they're
Right.
afraid people will be
Yeah.
disappointed because they're expecting a song and they're going to get, Revolution 9, type of stuff. And
Well, here's the other thing that remember when the original anthology came out, they came out with these singles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the bonus tracks are all songs that weren't on the original anthology,
Right.
the anthology. So why weren't these tracks,
Yeah.
with the exception of Yellow Submarine, unless these tracks were on previous,
But there's like a version of I Saw Her Standing There
right?
that leads off the track, the Anthology 4. I'm more wondering if that's the same version that's on the B side of
Well, what about This Boy? Is This Boy on the new
This
version?
Boy.
The
I
Christmas,
don't think it's on it, no.
all the
And-
Christmas.
And Christmas Time Is Here Again.
I know,
is
but
on
I
the
mean, I'm talking about
single.
the actual, things with all the talking and everything else too that were released. That's never been released. That could be on one of the anthologies.
Right.
Actually,
So,
Fred, This Boy is on Anthology 4.
okay, but
They're
they
doing
didn't put
takes
in.
12 and 13.
Natalie, we're
Christmas-
talking over you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just sitting
Actually,
there
I'm
fascinated.
gonna get to you in just a second, all right?
But
Okay.
Thank
Christmas
you,
Time is
Natalie.
right, but Christmas Time Is Here Again doesn't appear to is not on,
No, it's
and
not
that
on there.
should have been on. It
Mhm.
should have been on.
Okay.
So-
All right, let me get to Natalie, and there was things I want to ask her about. We were talking earlier about some tracks that are on the album, and that the new anthology for, and what your thoughts might be regards to a new version that they're releasing on "Baby You're a Rich Man," "The All You Need Is
Ooh.
Love," "Rehearsal," things like that. Anything that stood out to you that you were interested in, that you're interested in hearing.
Well, I'm going to go back to I remember when I was actually raised on the original Beatles anthology back in the day. My parents are big Beatles fans. They got the miniseries. They watched the miniseries. They got the albums.
You're
I
so
think-
much younger than the rest of us.
Oh,
She's just a wee lass, a wee lass.
so I was, we played it in constant rotation. And so there were a lot of tracks on the original anthology albums that I was more familiar with than, say, maybe the final versions. Like one of my favorites growing up was I'm Down. And it was
Yeah.
sort of an unfinished take before the backing vocals came in, which you can hear on Past Masters. And when I realized that there were backing vocals, I was just blown away. Because this whole time, the majority of the time I was listening to that version. Now, fast forward to when they actually release Now and Then. And I'm hearing that for the very first time. Like a lot of people, I got emotional hearing this because it's clearly a love letter between the musicians. It is just beautifully put together. And it took 30 years to produce because of the technological advancements that had to take place in order to separate the vocal from the instrument, in order to really finalize it. I mean, at the time when they were working on Real Love and Free as a Bird, they could not separate the vocal from the instrument for Now and Then. So hearing it for the very first time, I was blown away. I fell in love with it instantly. And then my second thought was they need to go back and revisit Real Love and Free as a Bird and do the same mastering process with those two songs. And I am so glad they're revisiting this with Anthology 2025. And I cannot wait to hear what they've done to some of the other tracks, maybe the early demos, That'll Be the Day, Cayenne. I love hearing those earlier recordings when they were teenagers and just hearing the raw quality of their skill. And another facet of this, specifically with, I believe it's Anthology 2 that has the Morecambe and Wise recordings. There's one
It's
particular...
Anthology 1.
Oh, it's Anthology 1? You know
Yes.
what? I've been listening to Anthology 2 more on repeat than some of the other ones. Thank you for clarifying that. So Anthology...
What tracks are these?
Well, in particular, the track that stood out to us in regards to my brother was the Morecambe and Wise recordings, but in particular Moonlight Bay. That's like one of his favorite recordings. So I wonder what they're going to do specifically with those recordings, how they're going to master those.
It's very interesting because those are from like the BBC sessions and so forth, and you wonder how much better they can get it. But again, that was done around 30 some odd years ago, also in the 90s when they remastered them. So it'll be interesting to hear what Giles Martin was able to do on those recordings.
Now, Natalie, you mentioned the backtracks
Oh yeah.
CD. I know there's one track here, Aerial Tour Instrumental, which is Flying, which has a little extra
Yes.
things on it, and that should have been on this new version too.
Well, I have a question for you guys because you might know the answer. Are they remastering 1, 2, and 3 as well? I mean, are we going to get new versions? Are we going to get better sounding versions of, say, the old Decca tapes or anything like that? Do you know?
I believe they are being remastered. I think you'll have to buy it as a box set. That's the one thing that I think that's irking some fans is they want to buy just four, supposed to buy, but you have to buy all of them together. So, but yes, I believe all 1, 2, and 3 are all getting remastered as well.
That's what I'm interested in hearing, if that's the case.
Now, I'm wondering if down the road they might issue Volume 4 separately. You never know.
I think so. Give them a year or two. It's like, okay, we've taken care of that cow, that cash cow, and like, okay, we'll work on this one. So yeah.
Okay, we got their money. Now we'll put down Aerial Tour and Christmas Time is here again, and they'll buy it again.
Well, I'm looking forward to Rubber Soul. I kept thinking Rubber Soul was going to be this year, and suddenly this came out.
Yeah, I'm really,
that was a big surprise.
I think they understand that. I think what's probably driving this compilation coming out now is the Disney Plus series.
Yeah.
The fact that they know, okay, people will watch this at Thanksgiving weekend and they'll go out and buy it for Christmas and buy it as Christmas presents for others. Right. And while you and all of us, I think, would rather hear the Rubber Soul box set right now, this anthology and the accompanying releases is a big driver for Apple, and so it is what it is. But yeah, I hope that Rubber Soul comes out soon after.
This is from the DVD, the original DVD set.
Nice.
This is disc 5, which is technically episode 9. And this has all the special features, including the Threedles reunion footage and the little mini concert they did.
So what is this, Fred?
This is disc 5 of the anthology DVD set.
Oh, okay.
That came out. And this is basically episode 9. And the Disney series will probably have the majority of what's in here, plus extra stuff they'll stick in. So we'll see. We'll see when it comes out.
Right.
Yeah, I'll be curious.
So one of the things that I wanted to mention is just a few tracks that I would have liked to have seen different, at least based on their description, as different type of recordings. For instance, your Baby, You're a Rich Man. It says takes 11 and 12. Now, is that a rehearsal? Is that it'll be interesting seeing what they do, because that was a very much of a kind of a very spontaneous type of song, at least in the lyrics anyway, I think. Kind of very much in the same vein as my name, look up my number. It was, so those kind of things I really wanted to hear them in the studio having fun. The same holds true for Hey Bulldog, which is an instrumental, which is odd. I mean, it's an odd choice to share with us, since again, the fun aspect of that is the barking and just the odd lyrics and so forth that they came up with on that. So those are the kind of things that a little bit kind of tickling me off a little bit, that it's not the most exciting of outtakes.
Yeah, Baby You're a Rich Man, I think, was all done in one day. I think at Olympic. It was one of those rare sessions they did away from Abbey Road. And my understanding is it was all done in one night. So I think it won't be a rehearsal. It's just basically them working towards a final take, which could be interesting. And takes 11 and 12 tells me there's either a breakdown or they've kind of mashed the two into a new version. So that
Yes,
one was.
there could be like an acoustic version, and then they added in the fugal horn or whatever it
Mhm.
is that floats in and out of that. I don't know what instrument it
It's
was.
all
It's like some kind
Indian
of wind
instruments. Oh,
instrument.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
it'd be
don't
interesting.
know.
Yeah, interesting to hear how complete or incomplete it was on the backing track.
Or maybe that was just the sitar. Of course, it is an Indian-esque instrument, so that's probably what it was.
Hmm.
All right. Anyway, that's just my thought pattern. The next thing I wanted to talk about was regarding the "Free as a Bird" remix. Um, as I've posted, I was very disappointed in the fact that while I appreciate the updated technology and all that BS,
Mm.
the effect of John's voice being aged and being more ghostly, being sort of up front but in the background, you know, lent a certain emotional response from me in listening to it and listening to what I imagined as the Beatles were recording it together. That here's John, he's there, but he's passed away.
But I
And
wonder
it's
if
a
that's
ghost singing along with them.
the
Hmm.
same sort of attitude that Natalie had because she heard the early version of I'm Down, and that was the official version in her mind until she actually heard the real version.
Yeah,
Like
that's a good
you had
point.
heard this version first, I wonder if you'd be having the opposite viewpoint because this is the version you'd hear first, and to you that was the right version. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
It's a possibility, I'm still frustrated with Real Love that they sped up John's voice. It sounds even worse now to me. It sounds sped up. It sounds like a chipmunk John voice. Because if you listen to the original version of Real Love, it's like a whole, it's much slower, and John's voice sounds like John.
Is
Now
that
it's
on the John Lennon version that was released? I think
well,
it was one of his solo albums that they did in the 80s and 90s.
yeah, one of those. But you can also go
Was it
online and go
Menlo Avenue? I think it was.
No, it was Imagine John Lennon, the soundtrack.
right.
Okay.
But if you go online, someone has taken Real Love and slowed it down to the right tempo, and you can
Whoa.
hear it on YouTube what it should have been like. I mean, the new version, they just slowed it down. And I actually like that one better.
Mhm.
Okay, that's cool.
Well, keep in mind that the new versions of the the first two anthologies do have the '90s versions of the songs, even though I know "Free as a Bird" is actually the 2000 whatever version that came out later that has the backing, the backwards tape
Right, at the very
reversed,
end. Yep.
because the original had sort of sounded like he was saying John Lennon,
Right.
but then they reversed it so you could actually hear what he actually said. And I kind of missed that.
I
I
Yes,
I
wish,
agree.
Mhm.
I
you
like the
know,
yes.
background.
I
they
I
was
like
should
the
have,
going to
background
say
stuff.
that.
Yeah, I like
they
that. I
sh-
like a little bit. Hey, John Lennon or whatever it was that he says. Yeah, it was kind of cool.
right.
Made for John Lennon.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they should have left it like that alone.
Yeah.
But you can still hear the sort of the original 90s tracks, and then you're going to get the new 2025 tracks. So you're
See,
not really,
that's where the producer comes in and does overproducing, right? We saw that with I Am the Walrus.
mm,
When they put I Am the Walrus
Oh, the
out
remix, you
on
mean the new
the blue,
remix?
yes, on the blue album, but the
Oh,
remix blue version. What the hell are they thinking
oh, I
about?
hate it. I
oi,
To
oi, oi,
me, the
oi, oi,
official version is
oi.
the one that's on Love because it's a
Yes.
I
true stereo version. That's the one I play. Yes, exactly. And that's to me, that's one of my favorite Beatles songs ever. I still remember hearing it for the first time as a kid. I was at a friend's house. It had just come out, and he had shown me, "Oh, here's a new Beatles song." He played "Hello Goodbye," and I went, "That's not bad." He flipped it over, and it was "I Am the Walrus," and it was on,
Wow.
one of those little mono, the little record players.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
like six, whatever it was, and I just played "I Am the Walrus" over and over again, and that was in mono.
That's kind of weird. The 6-year-old
amazing.
and like, wow, dude,
I was always
nightmares
into
on that
music.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Maybe I was older than six. I don't know.
It's interesting what we hear as kids, and like obviously as you get older, it's like, oh wow, that's pretty. I remember hearing "Tomorrow Never Knows" for the first time was like 10 or 11. It's like,
Yes.
Road.
oh my god,
Brilliant song. One of my favorites.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely too. My favorite Beatle era is the psychedelic era a little bit.
hmm
Well, I have the single, the original single of "Hello Goodbye" with "I Am the Walrus" on the flip, and it has like an extra beat
Yeah,
in the middle
and
of
they
the
put that on
song.
the
Nice.
rarities. Remember the rarities American
Yeah,
version?
I have that. Yeah,
They have that, and that's another thing they could have put on. They could have put some of the rarities things on the anthology
they
album.
could have.
Yeah,
Oh, one thing we haven't touched on is the anthology book. Uh,
I have
this is
that.
this is the original hardcover. It's coming out as paperback, and with a is it a different cover, or it's a uh, a slip thing? I think that's what it is.
Flip cover,
Uh,
yes, and it's a photograph of them from '69, that early '69 session that they did.
and from what I understand, the book is not going to really be changed, as far as I know. It's going to be basically the same. So if you got the original, you don't. It's up to you if you want to get the new version.
That's what I need you to hold that up a few more times. Come on, can you give me a couple of
N1, N2, N3, N4,
red
N5,
retros, or whatever they are?
I'm working on my abs, getting my muscles in.
How do you feel,
Welcome to
Fred? By the way,
Anthology
you
Exercise.
feel
I feel
good, Fred?
good. Now I got to do the same thing with the monkeys books.
Yes.
Hey,
That,
work
That's
left for
right.
those. Yeah,
That's right.
I got a hernia with those.
No.
it's not just a coffee table book; it's a coffee table.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we move on to the next topic, and unfortunately, I don't think Plastic is going to be able to join us,
Oh
Oh,
well.
as he doesn't seem to. Oh, what's this? Got something up with credit card. Got to sort stuff out priority. So then, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to make it. So hopefully, he gets that issue resolved. Okay, let me just make a quick note to him.
Well, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning now in England, so he's probably asleep. So,
oh
Is
yeah,
he
they're
still
five
there?
hours ahead over there.
I'm not
oh
sure
yeah.
if I've ever
He's with
seen
Charles, right? Over there doing the Beatles
Charles
tour.
is there too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to be
No,
able to.
actually I think Charles is back.
Yes, he is back now. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
In any
So
event,
anyway.
while he's doing that, I still think, since we have something to talk about, I still think Real Love is my favorite of the three. I will say that. What do you guys think? What's your
Same.
favorite?
Same.
Real
Yeah,
love.
real love for me
Beautiful
was the one that did
song.
it. Yeah, I mean, I'm again, I'm glad they waited 30 years to release Now and Then. I'm glad they did it. I think that needed a lot more time, a number of reasons. But for me, Real Love is that one that goes, yep, that's it. That's the Beatles. Yep.
I recall I was shopping with my wife and we were in the grocery store and that came on. They were playing it and she went, "Oh my God, someone's really trying to copy the Beatles, aren't they?" No, that is the Beatles.
It is the Beatles, honey.
It's the Beatles.
Be
Sounds very
quiet. So,
Rubber Soul-esque, doesn't it?
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
67. Yeah, it's that first bloom of psychedelia before
Yeah,
68.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
But I still love Free as a Bird,
we'll do too.
because it was the first new Beatles song we've got in
Yeah.
years.
The
And it has the
emotional
best
aspect of
video.
that song.
And the emotional aspect alone makes it endearing. And Real Love is a bonus, because I myself think that Real Love is the better of the two, of the original two.
Yeah.
And now I think Now and Then sort of supersedes them as probably the best,
Oh, really?
in my opinion.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Ringo and Paul have to say about the release. And I'm sure there'll be some kind of press conference or interview down the line on that and get their impressions on it. I did want to make a mention of just some of the things that I would have liked to have heard. Number one, regarding um, Now and Then, since again um, you're doing breaks and instrumental versions and alternate takes and whatever. I have to believe, I gotta believe, that Paul McCartney must have done a scratch vocal on this song sometime in the 90s, let's say, or 2000s or whatever, while he was, because he wanted to get this out. He wanted to release it. So I imagine somewhere in his archives he has to have a version of that. And I was, that was what only thing I was disappointed in Now and Then, is that there was that middle part where uh John in an earlier version of the song sings, "I don't want to lose you," right, and
Mhm.
so forth, and that was all cut out. And I think it would have been amazing if Paul, maybe before his voice had, even if it, even with his current voice, had gone in and recorded something as an answer
Hmm.
response to that, like, I mean, that would have been really cool. But I would have liked to have seen a track with Paul either in the lead or doing an answer bit.
I would have liked to have
Also,
heard.
going back to the Abbey Road sessions or the Get Back sessions, there's this great moment where they do Let It Be, and Paul begins the song by going all the way back to 1962 with Please Please Me, in just like a ballad version of the first verse or so of the song. I would kill to hear a full version of that,
Hmm.
you know.
Mm.
So I don't
That'd
know
be
what's in
nice.
what's in the vaults, but
Well, on Get Back, there's like he runs through the first verse of Strawberry Fields Forever, and if you will look online, if you
Yeah.
follow those AI things, somebody actually went and did an AI version where it's like as if Paul had done that for an entire song,
Mm.
and just piano vocal, But it's there's other people that think like us, like, oh my god, I wish they had another minute of that, or wish we had the first 30 seconds or a minute of them doing the Elvis song during the White Album sessions,
yeah,
which some
yeah,
of the tape
yeah,
cuts in. Is just amazing. Yeah.
Well,
So
there's another exclusion that should have been on disc four, and that's or anthology four, and that can be found on the Let It Be Naked album. The second disc, the Fly on the Wall disc, has a snippet of a song they did called "Because I Love You So," which sort of is in a rockabilly flavor, and that should have been on Anthology 4,
yeah,
the
yeah,
full version of the song. Right now, you can only get it on the Let It Be Naked second disc,
yeah.
but they should have had that as a separate track on Anthology 4. Another missed opportunity.
Another missed opportunity.
Anthology
Natalie, I want to
5.
ask you a question about AI. I know you're probably, I know you're very technologically advanced next to me anyway. And
This is
I
not
was
really
wondering,
Natalie. This is AI right now.
this is an AI Natalie? Okay, an AI
Same
Natalie.
here.
So I'm just curious about your take on a lot of these things that are um, produced by various people, particularly on YouTube and so forth, where they use AI to create a track by Lennon, McCartney, Beatles, whatever. Um, and that really isn't them, like McCartney
Yeah.
singing a John Lennon song or whatever. What are your thoughts on that?
I think in terms of those recordings, because some of the ones that I've been sent are sort of a what if scenario. What if they had recorded it back in 1969? How would it have sounded if they had recorded it at that time with that production? And some of the takes are really interesting. There was a recording of Real Love where the tempo was completely different, the pitch was completely different. It was more upbeat, more bouncy than the final one that we have. Now, I think the final one is just beautiful, and you can't compare with the one that they actually put out. But I see those more as musicians exploring different takes in different time frames, more experimenting with how it possibly could have sounded at that time frame, playing with sound mixing. Most of what I find, I theorize maybe a lot of these are class assignments because some of the strongest video cuts that I've seen, there's a really great video that somebody cut together using footage from The Cat's Meow and RKO 281, the battle over Citizen Kane, and it is just brilliantly put together. I don't want to spoil what they did, but if you can find it, it is just magnificently put together. And so I think that in a lot of cases, it's sort of a fun, imagine this scenario, but it could also be them exploring in their own right
Yeah.
how music is produced or how the technology has advanced.
It's a
Uh,
new art, really, when you think about
yeah,
it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well,
exactly.
as long as nobody's trying to make money off of it, that's the key. Because if you do that, then you're actually stealing from the artist, if you know what I mean.
Well,
Yeah.
yes, you do not want to do that.
No,
Oh,
yeah, as
oh,
long as people aren't saying this is, I don't want people. It's like rappers who use background music to rap over. They still
Mhm.
have to pay the background music artist who did it. As long as they're acknowledging that, I don't have a problem with it.
right. My concerns about AI, while it could be interesting, it also can be misleading. I mean, we've seen misleading photos and things on Facebook and other areas, and some people might mistake a track like Natalie describes it. Oh, I never heard this Beatles song before.
Right.
And unless it's explained to them, it's not really them.
Mhm.
They might be misled to thinking it's the Beatles. And down the line, I always felt there's a danger with AI that it can lead to something that has unintentional or maybe even intentional outcomes to it.
And,
So,
and just the general confusion, particularly somebody that doesn't know
I'm more
the
worried about
Beatles or
politics
the Monkees
myself.
or whatever, and they hear somebody else, Peter Talk singing, I Want to Be Free, for instance. She wouldn't have sung back in 1969 or 68 or whatever, So, I mean, if let's say, for instance, oh, let's have Peter Talk sing I Want to Be Free, and that would not be natural. That wouldn't have been authentic.
Well, this is
now
a
there's
topic
a
for an entirely new panel for talk about forever about what
yeah.
AI, problem
Now
with
there
AIs. We
Seriously.
could talk for hours on that.
there's a
Yes, we
one
could.
there's a wonderful band called Apple Jam that have actually done this, where they've done their own versions of what uh, unreleased Beatles songs might have sounded like if the Beatles had actually recorded and released them. And the other band, um, they've been at the conventions. I'm trying to remember the
Liverpool?
Weaklings. No, Weaklings.
Weaklings.
Yes, the
Yes.
The
weaklings.
Weaklings
Yeah.
also have done that, and when they do it in that context, I can accept that. 'Cause it's a tribute
Mhm.
to the Beatles, and they're doing their own little unique spins of what they think the Beatles might have done with these songs.
Yeah.
So that to me is okay.
Oh yeah,
The
that's like
AI
doing a
thing,
cover version and changing it a bit. Yeah, that's nothing.
exactly,
Yeah.
Mhm.
exactly. The AI thing, I'm still on the fence about.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you have to use it in an ethical sense, and know how to use it, not to misuse it. I think misinformation is a major problem with with the developing technology, and so you have to have a keen eye and a keen ear when it comes to the use of that technology. And unless it's verified by several news sources, like let's say that there's a news bulletin that goes out about one of the Beatles, as an example, um, and there's no verifiable source for that information, you want to steer clear, tread lightly when it comes to that kind of stuff. So it is a major problem.
Right,
Yeah.
because I just recently saw on Facebook something about Paul McCartney visiting a very ill Phil
Mhm.
Collins, and that was
Yes.
obviously AI photo.
Oh,
They're
I've
so
Mhm.
seen tons
sick
of
of these
those.
AI photos.
Yeah, but they have articles with them, and so you go and click on the article, and that gives you their ads, which is what they want. They're lying to
Yes.
get you to go to their webpage. I've seen a
Yeah.
whole bunch of things about concerts. You know, Elton John at a he's not even touring right now. You know, it's
No. No.
absolutely made up. You know.
Mhm.
I know. I know. It's
Right.
very frustrating.
The danger is almost like when we go back to Beatles bootlegs in the 70s, where songs like R.S. Bumblebee,
Oh
which
yeah,
even though, yeah, it's a it was a Cook and More song, I think. But
yes.
but it got on so many bootlegs, and so many Beatles fans heard them and thought, oh, this must be a Beatles outtake, and it literally became a Beatles song by squatters' rights.
Mhm.
And that danger is out there with AI now. It's like these
The,
songs that
fu-
people are
the
creating, even though some of them are good, people go, oh, that must be a Beatles song. No, it's not.
But you know,
Well,
it's funny we talk about this because this type of take of taking not taking advantage, but of trying to profit off of the Beatles and things like that. Um, started back in 63, 64. Just was at a seminar with this guy, Bob Koenig. You guys may be familiar with him.
oh yeah, we
Uh,
know.
he did a great show. We were showing us some albums and all the records that came out in 64 when the Beatles had come to America. They had to deal with VJ Records. They had to deal with
Long.
for so many songs, and then VJ had like 5 different labels that they were releasing the same songs on,
Right.
and then they were having other bands cover the Beatles songs in their own odd versions of them, or trying to do something that was like the Beatles and making names up that were sounding like the Beatles, and all this just to profit off
Mhm.
of the Beatles, just to make a little make a little money. It's very very funny.
Right. The copycat albums and singles and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
and it was
Yeah.
really interesting. So if you guys check out Bob Koenig on Facebook, Koenig is his last name. He's got some really cool stuff, and I'm
Yeah.
hoping to have him on the podcast at some
Oh,
point.
tracking back to the LS Bumblebee single, that's
LS
Dudley
Bumblebee.
Moore and Peter Cook,
Yep.
and they did that on a TV show they did, and it's the same one that has the John Lennon segment of him being the doorman of a gentleman's loo.
It's available on YouTube.
You can,
It's on
sorry,
YouTube. You can look it up. Yep.
Yep.
yes.
Oh
So if you
gosh.
look it up online, it's the whole bit with John Lennon is on there, and also uh, Cook and Moore performing Ellis Bumblebee is there too.
It's a beautiful
Wow,
piece. And some
Very
people
cool.
even thought, oh, this must be the Bonzo Dog Band, because they know the Beatles too, and it's like that's again, it gets passed down so many times. The definition changes with to someone 10 rows down. So
Yeah.
it's up to us to inform the public
Yeah,
what is
you
and
yeah.
what
must
is not.
inform the
What's for
public.
real and what's for real and what's for fun?
Mhm.
Right, and
Cool.
there's another one. Have you heard the word by the Fut, which
Yes.
is which is Maurice Gibb when he was a little bit under the weather, so politely, and people thought that was the Beatles.
People thought Klaatu was the
Wow.
Beatles too, but
That's
Well,
right.
Klaatu was different, I think.
Well,
yeah.
yeah,
They
Klaatu.
never said they were the
No,
Beatles.
they
It was the
never
record.
claimed. They
They
never
Yeah,
never claimed it.
exactly.
yeah,
And
but
just going back to Terry Draper, who passed away this year, who was one of the
Aw.
members of Klaatu. So, thoughts to his family is all that.
Yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately for them, it was I think it was Capitol sort of imply, well, they're on Capitol, the Beatles were on Capitol, and this sounds like the Beatles. Maybe it's the Beatles. It was sort of it's unfortunate because those are really good records, and I'll
They
mention.
are. They're
Yeah, those are all of them are great records, and I also will recommend the version of "Calling Occupants of
Interplanetary
Spacecraft,"
craft.
Interplanetary craft?
which was done by the Langley School's Music Project in the 1970s and released in the. It's school kids singing that song.
also the
Beautiful.
Carpenters
I know
also
the
covered it.
Carpenters version.
Yes,
That's a
yes,
great song.
yes. But
I
yeah,
like
if
the
you look
Klaatu
the
version.
Carpenters version, look up the Langley School's version. It's amazing. Yeah.
We're gonna have
Now,
to do a Carpenters podcast
I
one of
like
these
that.
nights because
Sure.
that is like one of the best things they have made, and it went nowhere. Nobody knows
I
anything
think
about that song.
I think it charted, but not very high.
Yeah.
Like 72 or something like that.
All right. Anyway,
Whatever. I don't know what the numbers are, but I mean that was a great song. Great
okay.
production.
Have we got time to touch on the John Lennon Power to the
Yeah, I
People
want to
set?
do that. I want to just show, unfortunately, since Plastic EP cannot be here, I just do want to show a couple of pictures, and then I want to talk about the subject you want to bring up, Fred. So let me just share a couple of photos that we can have a few laughs about. And
Ho ho, hee hee.
so,
Oh,
Oh.
so Plastic was recently in London
Oh, look at that.
and Liverpool with Charles Rosenet, and
Oh, that
so it
was,
was a
oh, there
great
it is.
picture of Plastic with Vicky and the wonderful statue of the Beatles in Liverpool.
Wow.
That's very cool. I'm gonna see if I
Cool.
can.
You have the one with Brian Epstein statue?
No, I don't have it with me right now, but he does have one with that statue there.
How about the poster?
I'm sure Plastic is going to poster these all over his own.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They are.
We will
That's
see
how
them
I got
again. Don't
some of
worry.
these. And he
Could
sent
Seen a
them
happen.
out to
couple of
us.
them. He looks like he's having a good time over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does. I think he's a little bit uh something.
Mhm.
He's having a bit of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let me just move on to how do I stop sharing on this? I had it, and now
Try to
it's
stop
not.
sharing.
But it's nice to share.
It's nice to
It's
share.
Plastic EP. He's
Okay.
everywhere. He's everywhere.
He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. So beware.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I got it.
How to stop sharing. Oh no. Oh dear.
Okay.
Technology. Natalie, help him.
Okay, hold on. I wonder if I can do like this. Maybe we can do it this way, and I can just change the screen this way. There we go. Okay, you seeing a different picture now?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
everything.
Okay, so now this is Charles Rosenet with
Ah.
Plastic, and that was on a great. Now Charles is the one that runs the tour.
Right.
He
Mhm.
does an annual tour to London and Liverpool every year. I think it's called Liverpool Tours, and you should check him out if you want to get involved with that, folks. You can email. You can go to Facebook and look up Charles Rosenet and look up his Liverpool tours, London tours or Beatles tour, and it's a should be a great experience. I hope to go on this one of these days.
Mhm.
But I believe Mark Arnold, who is also alumnus of Plastic EP, he was on that tour last year, and so yeah, so it was cool. Plastic and Charles got to get together for that, and
Cool.
then of course, this is the famous Vicky and Plastic EP together,
Yay.
and they have another one where we have. Just see if I can bring this down to. That's not the one. Oh, that's another one.
Uh-huh.
It's
That's
like
okay.
he's here. He's not here, but
It's like
it's like he's
he's
here.
yeah. Okay, now
Very clean.
I just want to see if I can find the picture that I wanted. Now this is going to lead into our next discussion. So yeah, so Plastic was happy to send me a copy of this upcoming album promo for the Plastic Ono box set, um, Power to the People. So Fred, could you take it away from there and tell everybody a little bit more about what you expect out of that?
Well, the thing is, it's the Power to the People, which is would have been the Sometime in New York City box set, but according to Sean Lennon, there are legal reasons why it couldn't be issued the way he had intended, mostly to do with a certain song, and I think we know what that song is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's not
So
really a legal issue as much as it's a just how can I say this? A business issue.
a business, yeah,
Yeah.
business. I think you're correct,
No,
Michael. Being
you
a
wouldn't get in
lawyer,
legal
know.
trouble, but yeah, go ahead.
By the way, am I
Um,
still showing the Power to the People ad, or am I back to regular screen?
Back to regular screen.
Okay, thank you.
Right. So because of that, they had to reconfigure the whole box set so that now it centers more on the one-to-one concerts with an extra disc that does feature tracks off the Sometime in New York City album, minus that certain song. And the live albums, for whatever reasons, leaves off Sisters Oh Sisters. And we're guesstimating that was for time constraints on the disc, because the discs as they are that are going to be released are pretty much maxed out. So they couldn't squeeze in Sisters or Sisters, the live version. But it is on the Sometime in New York City tracks, from I understand. Now, I myself am interested in mostly the concerts. I'm because just to be honest, Sometime in New York City was never one of my favorite John Lennon albums, and that's a period of John Lennon's career which was not my favorite. And it's ironic that I got this thing, this Funko Pop of
Mhm.
John Lennon, and it's from the one-to-one concert, my least favorite period, but it was the cheapest one I could find, you know.
Aw.
Oh, that's great.
And the one-to-one concerts have been, well, a concert was released years ago, the John Lennon Live in New York City, which does have that song in here. And if you get the video, the video cassette, it has the song plus Sisters Oh Sisters included. And this I got is from the same period, John Lennon acoustic,
Yeah.
which has a brief snippet of that song in there, plus some of the other "Sometime in New York City" songs. And this I've got because I know these songs are going to be included in the box set. Uh, this is a bootleg of John Lennon Telecast, which has some of the songs from Mike Douglas and I think Dick Cavett and David Frost in there. And I think outside of I think the Mike Douglas songs, those are not going to be in the box set unless you guys know for certain. But the other songs will be, including that song. So for me,
Let me ask you about that song a second. Didn't they release that as part of the deluxe or remastered version of Sometime in New York City
yes,
not
they
too many
have.
years ago?
They have, and that's the thing that confuses everybody. If that and the song can be found streaming. You could download it. You could find the Sometime in New York City album in CD and vinyl, and the song is in there. And yet, for whatever reasons, the lawyers thought, no, 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 we'll be in trouble if we put it out like that in the current political situation. So, and yet the song is still out there.
Yeah.
So they should have, and they made a more to do about it by not putting it in than if they just put it in and let the cards fall where they may. You know, I don't think anybody would have cared one way or the
By
other.
not by omitting it, it creates more of a
A spot,
curiosity about it,
a
and
more of a
probably
spotlight on what was taken
yeah.
out.
Well, on the other hand, a spotlight is a good way to help sell the album too. If people
There
are
you
talking
go.
about the album, maybe that's a good thing.
But I
Right.
myself am going to get the concert version, either the two CD or the one CD, which is a combination of the best of both concerts. So even though I would like to get both concerts, maybe getting the best of both of them will be okay because I already got the afternoon show. So if we get a little bit of the evening show, oh, that's another thing. I have up there, I'm not going to take it down, but the John Lennon Anthology box set. And
Oh.
that song, the evening concert version, is on the box set.
Huh. Well, it's amazing.
What about the movie that came out, the documentary like about earlier this year, the
You
one to
guys,
one?
One-to-one John and Yoko. Yeah, I was at
Yeah,
the New York premiere. It was brilliant. I got to see it on the IMAX screen. I realized that some people that have seen the footage from the concert from that era, maybe a lot of it is familiar to them, but when I saw it on the big screen, there were certain subjects highlighted that hit a very personal chord for me. The reasoning behind doing the concert struck a chord.
yeah.
It was such a human, compassionate response, and I cried in the movie theater when I saw that. I have to believe that that kind of decency exists in this world. Especially considering my older brother Anthony, who happens to have low verbal autism. So I think of somebody like him who's vulnerable, and so seeing that exposed on the big screen, just in raw detail, it was a
Yeah.
lot to take in, but it also showed their compassionate response. And I needed to see that. I needed to hear that story told that way. But it was remarkable to be able to see it on that large a screen. I think it's just as good if you just get a chance to see it in any form, whether it's on your TV screen or a local movie theater screen. I think, you know, anyone that hasn't seen the film should take a look at it because it is illuminating.
I think you can
Yeah. Go
buy,
ahead.
I think you could buy the streaming version or rent the streaming version on Amazon now.
Nice. It
And
was brilliant.
and I'm glad that you
I
mentioned.
saw the IMAX version. I was positive that included that song, but I was told by somebody else that I must have just been thinking that it should have been part of it,
Mhm.
and whatever.
And
But
that song
anyway,
was part of the Sometime in New York City recording of the
yeah,
afternoon
yeah, yeah,
show. So there it is. I'm so glad they're finally releasing recordings from the evening show, which obviously sounds a lot better to my ears than the afternoon show. I remember I had a cassette of Sometime in New York City as well, and after the first song, John goes, "Welcome to the rehearsal," and it's kind of that, I think they worked out some bugs by the evening show. So yeah.
Right.
right,
Just a just a thought back on the Sometime in New York City album. It was never one of my favorite John Lennon albums. My favorite John Lennon album is Walls and Bridges, and I'm looking forward to when
Great
they reissue
album.
that.
Mhm.
yeah,
That's my favorite. That's my favorite John Lennon album because
Agreed.
to me, and this is just my opinionated opinion, uh, Sometime in New York City was John getting into the politics of that time,
right,
but on a creative musical level, he was sort of like drifting, I think, that
yeah,
his muse was not there. He was
Mhm.
focused on one thing, but was not artistically at that point.
yeah,
I agree.
And
Ironically, the best song is the one that we're not saying the title to. The best in terms of actual music. If you take out the
yeah.
lyrics, that's the best song on the album, ironically.
well, my favorite song on that album is New York City.
New York City is a good
¿Qué
song too.
pasa,
Yes,
New York?
And it's a great opener to the concert as well.
Yes.
And that song opens the portion of the Sometime in New York City album in the box set,
yeah,
in lieu of the other song. And so after that album came out, that was like the lowest selling John Lennon album ever, and considered in certain circles as his worst album. And
Mhm.
he tried to come back with Mind Games, and I feel he came back with Walls and Bridges.
yeah.
So on an artistic level, it was not a good album. I understand what John Lennon was doing at the time. I think maybe he was going, in my opinion, he was going in the wrong direction, but he sort of caught up on that, and he released, in my opinion, again, a brilliant album with Walls and Bridges.
Well, with the thing about Power to the People and then the one-to-one uh, 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 concert documentary that was released, Sean only has so much material to work with,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And so it is cool that we're getting to see as much of it, with the exception of that song, that we can. And so I applaud Sean and the team of people that are working on Lennon's releases, remasters, and so forth. That at least we're getting the all of this music out. All right, so I guess we're sort of going to the wrap up phase of tonight, and anybody wants to make any further comments about the upcoming anthology release, but we're gonna kind of go around circles like Billy Preston there, and
Or
so
Puritan. Yeah.
I'm gonna start with Michael. Michael, can you give us a little bit about what's going on with you and what you want to do
Well,
and what you're feeling?
for your audience, I think the most interesting thing to me is that the Monkeys book came out from Gold. Can you hold that up for me?
Sure, Goldmine
Goldmine, thank you.
magazine.
It's a new magazine with all kind of new articles, including one by me. So that's why I want you to get the book.
Oh, wow.
Lots of great,
Congratulations.
Thank you.
lots of great
And for
stuff in
those of
there.
you who are watching this who are not aware, I, with Mark Arnold, have written 2 books about the monkeys, and they asked us to write an article for this magazine. So go out and buy it.
Yes.
Go out in a buying frenzy.
Okay, Daniel, what's going on with you?
It's been a busy summer. I will tell you that. So let's see. Few things coming out later this year. I've been work is continuing with the Chad and Jeremy archives. Jeremy has a new album that he's releasing in this fall of standards. When you read in his press for that album, which I think he has a Goldmine article coming out later this year, you'll get a lot more info about the archival work that we've been doing. So stay tuned for that. I've been working with the Marx Brothers Estates on a really cool project.
Oh,
So
wow.
Wow.
I'm a
This has
big
been a
Pop
cool
person.
one. I can't wait to tell you guys more about it. It's a really remarkable project.
I'd
So
love
Say
to
the,
hear more about that.
yeah, say the secret word and he'll spill the beans.
take a word and get $200, and wait till next year. So well, gosh, there's that. I somehow got the Strawberry Alarm Clock or record deal, which will be announced in the next few weeks. They have a new single coming out in October. Stay tuned for that as well.
Wow.
If you're in Charlotte the next few weeks, I'm doing an exhibit of my photos, all my music photography photos, called Music as an Image, and it's at Arts Plus over into mid-September. And that leads nicely into FabFest, which we're doing here in early October. We have a lot of good folks coming. I think Bruce Spicer is going to come and sell books and do a Thursday night
Oh,
talk,
nice.
part of the film. We have Greg Bissonette coming back. He's doing a special program with Gary Astridge, where they're going to take people through the evolution of Ringo's drumming from the skiffle days through the Beatles. So the first time they've been apparently been talking about doing this for some time. This will finally happen at FabFest. We have Jerry
Wow.
Hornet coming as well, which I'm really excited about. It's a really good list, and the day portion is a free festival this year. So come one, come on all. It's going to be a crazy day out at, I think, the Par Center at CPCC. So fabfestcharlotte.org, in case you're wondering. As for me, danielcoston.com, Daniel Coston Photos on Instagram. And oh my God, there's so much going on. And I hope to see you all really soon.
Daniel, I'm not going to let you go quite right away
Yeah.
because I want you to give us a little bit more and where the photo gallery is going to be.
Okay, that's at Arts Plus, which is at Park Road and Plaza Road and Parkwood Drive here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it'll be up for 3 weeks. Actually, as we're taping this, the show will debut tomorrow night here in Charlotte. So it's a really kind of cornucopia of different musicians I've taken photos of the last 30 years. I will tell you there's a Paul and a Ringo picture in this show. They just kind of
Oh,
said, me,
wow.
me, me in this corner. I'll send you guys pictures of that. And in the spring, I'll be doing a solely separate show of just social event photography that I've done in Charlotte the last 30 years.
Wow.
So I kind of like just confusing people and saying, oh yeah, I do this too. So
And
Oh, that's
I was
amazing.
lucky to attend your photo show a couple of years ago when I was in Charlotte.
right. And that's the
And
last time I've done this. So
I applaud you, and I hope everyone comes out to see it and can enjoy and appreciate your work.
thank
Um,
you, Ed. Well, I'm
I
sorry. I'm sorry we won't see you at Fab Fest this year, but we'll be
I'm
thinking
thinking about it.
if you come.
I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to get a trip together for this summer that did not work out, so I
Mhm.
may end up doing Charlotte.
Well, this year, Fab Fest will be the Friday night concert. We're going to flip it around a bit from when you were here, Ed. The special Beatles tribute concert will be at the Night Theater Friday night. The day portion, which is free, which will be Saturday from 10 to 5. And it's going
Hmm.
to be a massive day, and it's going to totally exhaust me. And I'm really looking forward to it. So, but no, if
Yeah,
you're coming, Ed, I would love to have you there. The thing with Greg Bissonette and Gary's are going to be really cool.
yeah.
So,
I'll let you know shortly on that.
yes,
Okay,
please do.
Fred, next.
Next, right now, I don't have anything going on, but I do recommend and encourage people to visit my website, freddiePop.wordpress.com. I have my articles up there. I tend to write some articles there, and I might even put up some of the podcasts that I've been on this past year. I've been on a lot of podcasts, so I'm going to put up a link to those podcasts so people could take a look at them. And of course, I have my two Monkeys books. My first one, A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You, The Monkeys from a Fan's Perspective. And my most current book, A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You 2, The Monkeys from International Fan Perspectives. You can get these books on Amazon.com in both print and Kindle. So I highly recommend for monkey fans who are fans to check these books out. And again, I don't have anything pertinent coming up, but again, I recommend you check out my website. I think I got the website address here. If you could see that, FreddiePop at WordPress.com. Check it
Right.
out. Check out the articles there. And I promise there'll be more content. And I will start putting up the podcast that I've recently been on.
Very cool. Okay, and Natalie?
Okay, so in early November, I will be going to the Coronado Island Film Festival in San Diego, California to present Tug of War as part of a special Beatles engagement. Chuck Gunderson's going to be there, Bruce Spicer, Tom Frangio's going to be there. It'll be hosted and moderated by Leonard Maltin, the Leonard Maltin. I
Wow.
am so
Oh,
thrilled that it's going to be a part of this event and it's going to be
two
part of
thumbs
this
up.
film festival. Thank you. And so I'm so excited to be out there. I'm just thrilled that it's going to be seen by another audience, particularly for a film festival. And knowing who's involved, like I grew up not just listening to music, but looking at the history of film, watching classic and current films. And so a lot of names that are associated with the film festival definitely rang bells with me. And so I was thinking as they were telling me about it, who was involved, Leonard Maltin, Richard Dreyfuss, Errol Flynn's family. I'm hearing all of these names and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I recognize all of this. So I was just blown away. And when I was finally able to share, I made announcements far and wide. And I'm so thrilled for the opportunity. You have no idea.
That's
That
so cool,
is
Natalie.
Thank you.
that is excellent. I used to go to Leonard Maltin's uh, animation classes at the New School in New York City
Yes.
with my friend Jerry Beck, who I'm sure a lot of people know is the animation expert.
Oh, Jerry Beck and I used to work on something called Appatoons way back in the days, where a bunch of animators, including Leonard Maltin, used to write. That turned into my magazine Animato, all about animation that I did in the 80s.
Wow.
Yeah, I know
So
both of
I'm
them.
so
I recognize that name.
I slept on Jerry Beck's floor one time, so
well, and gang,
Incredible.
Natalie, we're very proud of you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
Natalie. And I had seen the Tug of War presentation a couple of years ago at Fest for Beatles fans. Saw it again. It's a tremendous presentation. And
Thank
Natalie's
you.
graphics really highlight it. Tom Frangione did a wonderful interview with McCartney. At the round that I guess it was recorded at the time of Tug of War. I guess it was it at the time or was it after, was it in more recent years?
I believe it was recorded in 2022, if I remember
Okay,
correctly.
okay.
The
But it was
timestamp
so
is
well
in
done.
the. Oh, thank you. That was an iconic interview, and it was a dream project for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Very
And
cool.
Natalie, how was Eddie Deason?
Oh, he was a sweetheart.
oh
Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh,
So insightful. I loved hearing his talks about how he got involved with Robert Zemeckis, his experience with stand up, and just how knowledgeable he is. But he is such a sweet guy to talk to, and
okay.
he's just a joy to be around.
He
And
wrote, he
I'll
wrote an
st-
introduction to our Monkeys book, by the way. He's a huge Monkeys fan as well, I should mention.
Oh,
oh, we'll
nice.
definitely should send him a link to this podcast.
Yeah, Eddie Deason, for
Absolutely.
those of you who do not know, is an actor, comedian, so forth. He was one of the principal actors in the I Want to Hold Your Hand film
Love
that
that
was
film.
featured at the Fest of Beatles fans last year. Um, and I think it was made in 1978. But of course, he's done quite a few other things. But very good character actor, very nice guy. Got a chance to meet him as well. And so yeah, so that's very cool that you got a chance to work with him, and that's
Yeah.
great.
Now, why is Ringo Starr's real name? And the answer
And
comes
the
up.
answer comes back.
All right, so we are all here. My name is Ed Rising, and you guys can find me on Facebook and um, check out the YouTube page under my name, Ed Rising, or you can look up Ed's Pop-O-Matic podcast on YouTube, and you can see a whole bunch of videos that we've done, and a lot of the same cast that you're seeing tonight. I'm very fortunate to have this group of people, uh, join me every now and again. So I want to thank all of you for being here and for listening to our podcast tonight. This is Ed's Retro. Ed, what is it called again? Ed's. I can never get it right. It's Pop-O-Matic Podcast, a retro pop culture podcast where everything retro beats the new when you keep it in your heart. So have a nice night, everybody, and I thank you very much. Bye
Good
bye.
night. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Right.
good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you